the ring that the man himself is going to set a stone in.
Try.
Try. What is the SKU on this one, do you?
This is LSR1964.
It's available now.
Yep.
That stands for Larder and Son. So this was made by Larder and Son in Manhattan, in New York City, around 1912, 1915 in there. We could actually go all the way to the card catalog, and I could, if someone, we're not going to do that though, because that's a pain in the butt, but we actually have the card catalog and the samples from the factory, and we could dig up exactly when this was made and for who it was made. But that requires a lot of effort, and unless we sell a ton of these, we're not going to do it. So maybe if you really want to know, anyway,
Buy a bunch of rings.
buy a bunch of
Gorgeous
rings.
Art Nouveau, asymmetric design.
Yep.
Super pretty.
Yeah.
And we're going to show you how to set a stone in it.
We have videos showing how to use this style of ring, which we call the humpback ring. Do you want to talk about
Yeah.
the...
So,
And that's ready.
so here's,
Okay.
yeah. So this is, we call these humpback rings because they got a hump in the middle. The reason they have a hump in the middle is to help you pre-bend it. Now, they weren't thinking of you
No.
when they designed these. They were thinking of themselves and their unlimited supply of highly skilled labor, not us. So,
And drop hammers.
and they had drop hammers and everything in the world to make these. But for us to do it, and well, for you to do it, it requires this. Or actually, it's this one.
I use both when I
Yeah,
made
you can
it.
use both.
Just because this
But
middle section is
it's sometimes-
so deep.
Yeah.
I don't know where you are.
So notice how this fits on here. So I made a matching set of dies so that we can make these fit together. And this gives you a force. Now, when you stamp one of these, do yourself a favor and use heavy stock, like 12 gauge.
Yeah.
Do not try to stamp this hollow. They were never designed to be struck hollow. They were designed to be stamped exactly like this.
I used 10.
10 gauge.
It was a little heavy.
I don't know. I
But
think
for
it's
the middle,
perfect.
it was good.
It's
Like for this
perfect.
part, it was, you know.
Yeah. So 10 gauge would have been is great for this. It looks fantastic.
Lynette pressed the ring and made it.
Yeah.
We're just
Yep.
tapping it into
I'm
Ken-
just setting the stone. So
just setting the stone.
what you'll do is you'd use your 10 gauge silver and you'd trim around it and you'd press, and it's gonna be so much easier with solid
Yeah.
silver. Trying to do this stuff hollow makes no sense. That's not how they were ever done. They were done with solid, heavy gauge stock.
Yeah. So you press the center first and then
Yeah.
the ends.
I actually
using-
have all of the sample rings, and they were all struck solid
Yeah.
in gold. So let's get started. We're
Okay.
gonna set. I need to get my sea biggers. I think they say
They do, sea biggers.
Yeah, when my kid was little, he used to take these and wear them around the house, and I couldn't find them, and I'm like, "Where's my magnifiers?" And I'm like asking him over and over, and he's a little kid, and he's like, "I don't know," and finally I found them, and he goes, "Oh, those are called sea biggers." So ever since then, they're now.
Don't you
sea
know, Dad?
biggers. Yeah, he calls them sea biggers. So what we have here is a little oval CZ. Let me get my millimeter gauge, because I'm sure everybody's going to want to know the millimeter. Actually, we have the bag.
Oh yeah.
These are 6 by 4 millimeter. This is the size of stone that's going to fit really nice in this ring. It's a 6 by 4. Okay? And I'm going to show you how to make a bezel. And it's not how you guys are thinking we're going to make a bezel. If you're trying to make a bezel by wrapping a piece of wire around this, it's going to be a disaster. What we're going to do is we're gonna cut the bezel from a sheet of solid 16 gauge. And it's gonna, that way there's no solder seam. So you guys who hate soldering are gonna love this. You don't have to solder. So I'm just gonna drill a hole. I'm using a ball burr. If you've got drill bits, use drill bits. We don't have those luxuries around here.
You don't. Annie and I.
I don't have anything. I'm lucky I have any tools at all left.
Kevin's like the survivor man of jewelry.
Well, my kid over there,
Does he
he's-
take your stuff?
exactly, that's his job. That's what he's supposed to do, is steal my tools. He's not here to defend himself.
He
He's
is.
right there.
Oh. Yeah, he's the tool hoarder. And then I got, see, it's you know what the bad,
Hoarder. You hear that?
well, I got two here. I got Ian, who likes tools as much as my kid. So I got both of them picking through my drawers here.
Yes. Okay, so what are you doing now?
So what I'm doing is I'm just hogging out the middle of this with whatever burr I could find. That one's not working so good, so I'm going to use this, it's just,
Cylinder?
yeah, cylinder burr. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hog out this thing so it looks like an oval, and I'm going to set my stone on it and kind of preset my stone while I've still got this big sheet of metal to hold on to. Now, if this was gold, we would be using a saw. We wouldn't just be, you know, lumberjacking.
Carving and
Yeah, we wouldn't just be lumberjacking our way through a piece of gold. But it's silver, so it's, you can be reckless. So you can see how my stone is kind of sitting in there. Now notice that the thickness, this is 16 gauge. Notice that the thickness of this is not thick enough to cover the entire bottom of the stone. But we've also got the ring to deal with. So this is just going to be a bezel for the top of the stone. It'll all make sense shortly.
Reed says he's hand engraved larder rings many times. Die struck rings rule.
Yes, they are the best. They are the best. If people get spoiled when you get to use die-struck stuff over castings, I mean, I used to have to work with castings all the time, but now I just can't even bear it. So we're just kind of making a little oval.
So are you aiming to have the stone drop straight in?
No,
Okay.
it's going to sit on top.
Okay.
I don't want it to fall through.
Okay.
We're going to be close, though. All right. That's pretty good. So you can kind of see the little oval I've cut. And now I'm going to take my dividers and I'm going to scribe a line that's going to be on the outside of my stone.
And
I'm-
you're not measuring how wide that is.
No,
You're
I
just-
can't measure worth a crap,
Yep.
so I don't measure. So for those of you who don't measure like me,
You
You'll-
could measure, but there's no
reason to.
Yeah.
So I'm going to flip my stone upside down, and notice that's way too big. See how big that bezel is on the outside?
Yeah.
Way, way too large. So, but now I kind of have a sense of where my bezel is. So we're going to shrink it. So what I'm doing is I'm just getting a sense of where to cut. If I was one of those guys in Switzerland doing a stone setting video and I was editing it, I'd leave all this stuff out so I look like a rock star.
Perfect on the first
Perfect
try.
on the first try. Okay. Yeah, take a look at it. That's looking pretty nice.
Okay.
Shine it down on there. So you can see my second line, the inner line,
Hopefully the light is...
bad.
Oh, there we go. I got it.
Yeah. So you can see that's about the size of our bezel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut. I don't like to run out of metal. That's like my biggest fear in life is running out of metal, because it's really a pain to put the metal back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut in the middle of those two lines. So I have a little bit of metal to work with.
Yep, it's always good to
Yeah.
have more metal. It's a lot easier to remove metal.
This is the special beeswax from John Jelly's.
Oh yeah,
From his bees.
Yep. It's magic bee wax. If you need a saw, you should get one of ours.
I agree.
Yeah. They are, let me tell you the story about our saws. So, I took all of our saws with us to Italy, and I put them in the Trevi Fountain, where Saint Eligius himself, the patron saint of goldsmiths,
Kevin.
he descended from the heavens, and he sprinkled golden water on our saws.
And then Tinkerbell came and sprinkled pixie dust on them.
Exactly. You were there.
I was there.
You were there. That is why our saws cut with such precision.
Magical.
They're magic.
Twice blessed.
Twice
Twice
blessed.
blessed.
I think we're gonna call them that. I like
The
that.
twice blessed saw.
Yeah. Kind of like a double baked potato, the twice baked potato.
Oh, those are the best.
I
These
know.
are good.
Twice blessed. So, look at that. I went through this whole piece.
Don't say
Don't
it.
say it yet.
Okay, so this is where people are going to go, Kevin, your saw isn't deep enough. But that's okay. We're just going to cut this direction. All right.
Gone forever.
Yeah, I found it.
Oh, man, you're good.
Okay, so now we've got this little bezel. And it's actually huge compared to the stone. Don't you look at it. I'll set it up here.
Okay. Yep. Setting and not moving.
Sorry.
Can you see that, everybody? There we go.
All right. So now we'll just take I call it the reality check. We set this, our bezel, on top here.
Bless you.
That looks
Pretty
realistic.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks realistic. Doesn't look totally crazy. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to take and file the top of this nice and level, so that when I solder my bezel to the top of this, imagine you're setting a really expensive diamond and you don't want it to come off. So you don't just,
Imagine.
yeah. Back when diamonds were expensive, before we could make them at home.
I want an easy baked diamond oven for Christmas.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah, me too.
I know, I see them for
Coming
sale.
soon.
They're $200,000.
Wow.
I know. And they're way big tonnage. It's big tonnage.
You're getting ideas. I don't like it.
I don't know. There's really no point, because our friends over there in Asia have really cranked them out. So they're selling them pretty cheap now.
Yeah.
So we will set this on top of here like that. It looks really good.
Yeah, that looks good.
Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off that little nubbins there. And I'm going to pretend I'm working in a mall and I'm getting paid by the piece. I'm going to use my
That's
disc
good.
sander. I'm not going to sit there and enjoy it with my magical saw. And it's going to get hot in my fingers and burn my fingers, because I no longer work in a mall and my fingers are buttery soft.
Just keep
Ouch.
working till it smells like barbecue.
Yeah, until the smoke starts coming off my fingers. Ooh, it's hot. They used to be bulletproof. I could take anything. Not anymore. So what you want to do is you want to get this thing pretty oval.
Like even wall,
Yeah. Yeah.
approximately. Someone says, you know you can hold it with pliers, right? No.
Pliers,
No
ring
pliers.
clamps.
No ring clamp.
No. I don't have those fancy tools that you guys have.
He does. He just doesn't know where they are.
Yeah, that's true. I have all these fancy tools
Wait,
on my...
Vincent.
You know what's pretty bad? I have all these fancy tools up here, and I don't use any of it.
No.
It's really bad. I learned how to use this microscope, though, and I'm going to use it more because I really like it. But I never used one. I just used the C-Biggers. But once I use that microscope, man, you feel like you're a good jeweler.
You see lots of things that you
When you're under the
know.
microscope, you feel like you're terrible.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
gonna say, or a bad jeweler.
Yeah, but once
I don't know if
you're...
I'd feel like a good jeweler under a microscope.
Yeah, once you take your, pull it out from under the microscope, you're like a rock star.
Someone said he has pliers, meat pliers.
Yes.
Gross.
So I'm going to just put a little bit of flux on this. The reason I'm not putting a ton of flux is I don't want the damn thing to bubble all over the place and slide everywhere.
Oh, you don't solder like me?
You're a flux
I
lover.
am so sloppy with my flux. Yeah,
All right.
it's in a ketchup bottle, basically.
So I'm just setting that on there. I'm putting it in my tweezers. My portable soldering block. I've spent 20 plus years working at a bench, and I've always been like the sloppiest person. And the only clear space was like my bench pin. That's all that's left anymore. Grab a pair of pliers. I got all these things to try to make myself feel like I was organized, but I'm just not. So I'm going to tear off some pieces of solder. I don't know what kind this is, but
It's hard. He's hard.
it's probably hard.
Use hard. We'll pretend it's hard.
It's probably hard. So I'm going to use a couple pieces. That's probably more than enough solder for the job. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this thing centered a little bit. And it's probably going to bubble off as soon as I put heat to it.
That was ridiculous. How did you do it? With a nail file.
Turn on gas. Check this out. I don't know if it's going to work well, but it's this automatic lighting thing.
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of works. But it's,
Oh, it works.
yeah. We bought out a jeweler, and it was one of those kind of jewelers that I dream of being, one who is really organized and tidy. Oh, yeah, I was like, he'd passed away, and he's rolling over in his grave knowing that I got his tools.
Like, oh boy.
So we're going to warm this up a little bit. Just get it warm. So it's not flying all over the place, so that's nice. Ooh, there it moved. Look at that.
Look at that.
All right, so now I'm going to come in here and use my solder pick. And we're going to, I think it is.
Oh, really?
I got this torch ripping
It's
hot.
like easy.
No. I never use easy.
Okay, good. Me either.
It's probably lead solder. So you're just going to bring this temperature up.
If it was lead solder, it would be puddled
I mean, look,
already.
this thing is, oh, there it goes.
Woo.
Beautiful.
I think it's done.
It looks good from
Yeah.
camera view.
So if you were working in a mall and you screwed that up, you could lose your entire week's pay back in the day. Now we take it over. I don't use any pickle, but my apprentice, She does. She's being trained properly.
Oh.
So let's go in here and actually you can entertain them in here.
Okay, let's look at the ring so we don't wander around and make everybody dizzy. So this is the ring that he's working on. It is LSRI 964. It's available now on the website potterusa.com. It's this really lovely asymmetrical Art Nouveau design from Larder & Sons. And we have videos on our YouTube channel of showing how to make this style of ring, so not necessarily this exact ring, but you get the die. That is what, oops, that's the main part. Oh, it is sterling, Joseph. And then you form it. These are humpback formers. There's is it the standard?
Low.
The low and the high humpback formers. And that helps you press the different profiles of this style of ring that we sell.
They're very, very helpful.
Almost necessary.
Yeah.
I would not press a humpback without those. Like,
Okay.
Too much work.
So here is our bezel. It's soldered on. Has no gaps. It looks great. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole all the way through the bottom. Because only savages don't put clean out holes.
And that's what they're for.
Yes,
For
because you're
cleaning
going to
out.
get finger cheese.
Ew.
Yeah.
So that you can clean behind the stone once
Yep.
it's set.
Yep.
So you do that on every stone, not just
Yeah, I try
That's
to.
helpful.
No, there's no light back there. It's mostly just so you can clean it.
Oh, that's true. So the
'Cause-
time
yeah. Because finger cheese is a real thing.
Someone commented and said facts. Somebody knows.
disgusting.
Yeah. If you ever get a chance on Jewelers Helping Jewelers, they put up the ring of the day. And it's usually someone taking...
Gnarly.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have like actual bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so gross.
Yeah.
They do a before and after though, right?
No.
Usually just a before.
It's just a before.
Oh, how
Yeah,
dare
to
they.
try to see who has the worst job of the day.
Oh, Charlotte said that was not a good time to put macaroni and cheese in my mouth. I am so sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, there is some epic ones. The best one was the skin grown completely around the ring. I had to do that once on a person and kind of peel the finger meat back.
Okay, so someone asked the original sterling silver stock. It was 10 gauge.
Yes.
10 gauge sheet.
Which we do not sell.
Well, we sell 12 gauge.
We do sell.
If you guys want 10 gauge, we can make it.
Let us know.
Let us
We're
know.
happy to make 10. So, see what I'm doing here? We're just hogging it out using a barrel burr or it's called an inverted cone burr. Is what it's called.
They are some of my favorites.
Yeah.
Inverted cone burrs.
Yep.
They're good for carving. They're really good for enlarging
Everything.
holes.
Yep. So I'm just gonna have a nice little round-ish hole at the back of the ring, but that will enable us to get this thing in there.
Are you shooting to match the little oval hole you put in the bezel?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Just have a hole.
Just make it look nice.
Yeah, I just don't want it to be sloppy. Alright, so here's the back. Got a little hole there. Doesn't look great, doesn't look terrible. I'm going to set this stone on top. So now we've got we're going to thin that bezel out significantly, but you can kind of see it.
And don't move it.
Nice.
Yeah, really nice.
And then see the height? It looks appropriate. It doesn't look too high.
And that was 16 gauge?
Yep, a sheet of 16 gauge. It was about 1 millimeter tall.
Yeah, that's nice.
So it looks like it was supposed to be there. So the next step, we're going to cut a seat. And you're just going to kind of creep up on it with your ball burr. I know people are going, you need to use a setting burr, but no. I use a little ball burr. So I'm just kind of carefully shaving away my material.
Joseph, it's a CZ. Purchased from Rio.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm just checking to see where I need to cut more. So I need to cut some more at the front so the front is deep enough or wide enough. Now you notice I'm not touching the outside of my bezel yet. That's all out of the fear of running out of metal. You don't want to touch the outside of that bezel until you've set your stone. And I'm going to show you, you're not going to set this stone like you're imagining you're going to, like you guys set these stones. Okay? I'll show you how to do this. And it'll look real professional. So I've still got to cut a little bit more on the outside to get the stone to drop in the hole. Oh yeah, we're close. So I'm plenty wide on my width. I just need to cut a little bit more on the ends. So I don't want to go any wider this way and this way. I need to go more this way.
Lynn, yes, it's the same principle as like a tube setting. You're cutting a seat for the widest part of the stone to sit down in. You want it deep enough that you're going to be able to push the metal over, but not so deep that you're covering up a lot of the stone.
So I'm going to take a file here and just file the top of this so I can get a sense of what my bezel looks like. Alright. Almost there. We're pretty close.
Better to go slow though
Yeah,
than cut
no,
it too
it's-
big.
Yeah, the last thing I want to do is screw it up in front of everybody.
Makes for good content.
It does. And then I can fix it. But that's a lot of work.
Also, I only made one ring.
Oh yeah.
I did bring bigger stones though.
Very good. We're so close. Sorry guys, I'm just...
You're good, Kevin. They need to know to creep up on it.
Yeah.
Be patient. Take your time.
What color is stone called the chestnut?
Culet? The culet is the bottom point that sticks out like down in that hole.
What's the widest?
The girdle.
The girdle.
Yeah.
I knew it was a G word.
Yeah. Alright. So we are very close. I'm going to cut a little more at the front because I don't want to run out of material at the back. 3. I probably almost could have used a little bit more material. So we are, all right, we've got the width. You want to do a close-up?
Yes.
The stone is still not fully seated, but it's right there. I'm going to open up the side a little bit, and it should drop in.
So when you do that really nice little click.
That's probably not going to happen.
It's
That's
so
a
good,
goal.
though.
Yeah. You can dream. So I have a loop someplace around here in my drawer.
Oops, he's sitting here.
It's supposed to be in there, but it's not. Because I never put things back.
I'm
there
showing
it is.
them your drawer.
Oh yeah, feel free.
Look at this drawer.
I know, I got cool stuff in here.
Stress me.
Check these out. Aren't these cool?
Oh my gosh.
They're
yes.
blue. They're from an old platinum smith. These are sweet. Yeah. Cool treasures. That's all you get.
Peeking in Kevin's drawers.
So when you're going to use a loop, you only use one eye. You don't have to close the other eye. So yeah, we are so close. This puppy's going to drop right in. So it's just the outer edge.
Someone says this guy is me in 10 years. I don't know. Someone's gonna be Kevin in 10 years. They fancy themselves a younger version of Kevin.
Uh-huh.
I think based on the status of the drawers,
Oh yeah.
but I'm not sure.
It's. I've made myself at home in this bench pretty quickly. Now, when you get to this point, this is sort of like we're so close. There's a temptation, depending on the type of stone you're setting. If you're setting a diamond, you could, as long as the girdle isn't like massively thick, or I mean really thin, you can start doing things that this is like, I don't know. I don't even know if I should show people this because I once had a situation with my brass pusher, and my did it scare me. So here's my brass pusher.
You guys can make yourself one of these. We
Right.
talked about this in one of our recent
Yeah.
lives.
So what this is, you can use it to push stones. Now you're not going to push an amethyst. You're not going to push a peridot. You can push sapphires. Rubies are really expensive, so
What about an opal? Can I do that,
yeah,
Kevin?
definitely do not push the opal.
Just wanted to see your face.
Turquoise, yeah, no. But a diamond, you can kind of. I mean, they will break. I'm still thinking I need to cut a little more
Okay.
before I just,
Yeah.
drive it in there. The thing is, you don't want to overcut because then you're just fighting it. It's just a struggle. So let me loop it real quick and then I'll show it to you up close. You want to get this girdle to drop right below. There it goes. Now, especially in silver, this is really not a big deal. Let me loop it real quick and then I'll turn it over to you guys. I think I'm... Yeah, we're good. So take a look. It's seated. And the edge of the silver is just above the girdle. You can see it. So there's hardly any metal to remove. We're just above the girdle. So I'm going to come in with this. This is my burnisher. This is a burnisher. Those big goofy ass things that they sell are not burnishers. I don't know what they are. This is a burnisher. And I usually make these myself. When I wear out my beading tools, I just take and I polish one of these up with a rubber wheel. Now you want to round the end of it over so you don't scratch your stone. Now, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, so he's switched. He's not showing you the brass pusher anymore.
Yeah, I already used it.
He's showing you a steel burnisher.
Steel burnisher, and
that
I
he
polished
made with
it.
with an old beading tool.
Yeah, so it's polished, and it's going to smear the silver.
Smear.
Smear. We're gonna smear the silver. I'm using the edge of it. Just working the silver down.
Someone asked, how do you avoid lumps with the ball burr on the seat? I think that's a practice
That's a
thing.
practice.
Yeah.
Burr
Burr
control.
control, yeah.
Yeah.
Magnification.
The little snap.
Yeah.
So we're seated, and it doesn't require a whole lot. Now this is just a CZ, and this isn't going to hurt it. They're not like the hardest thing in the world. Whenever you're doing this, you really got to be careful that you don't abrade your crown facets. That's why you round your burnisher off really good and polish it.
So pretty.
So shiny.
So see how shiny our bezel is now? That stone is in there for life. And now you can come in. It didn't take very long. It's not that hard to do. It just takes a little practice. Then you're going to use your file. And you're going to carefully...
Which file are you using?
I wish I was using... You know what?
You got a barrette?
I'm wishing I had what's called a safety file.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't have the teeth. But again, we don't have... Oh my God, I got one. I was going to say, we don't have those luxuries here. But look at
You
this.
haven't lost it yet.
Got one.
It hasn't. It will be lost after this because I probably will never put it back in that place. But notice the back of this file, it has nothing on it.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to carefully file my bezel.
You can also make your own safety edge on a file if you're in a pinch.
So we're just getting it nice and round. I like to leave my bezels pretty thick. I don't like, again, to run out of metal. So we're just gently filing around this bezel. This is how fine jewelry is made. Okay? It's more delicate. So you run out of metal quick. I think that's like my fear in life and in this career is
Running
just
out of things.
running out of metal. It's like, oh my
I don't
God.
think you're in any danger.
No, we're okay. This would be considered very overkill for a bezel.
It's so pretty though.
It looks right.
It's substantial.
Yeah.
You're not gonna wear through it in the
Yeah.
first year you wear it.
Yep. So the next step, I'm going to take my little rubber wheel right here.
Tap that screen for me, Annie. You tap the screen.
Can you see it okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take this rubber wheel. I'm going to shape it a little bit. You don't want to use your good file to shape it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really have any good files. But you want to shape your rubber wheel a little bit. Get it nice and crisp.
You're using an old file? Oh, like a wax
Yeah.
carving file?
Yeah, this is Rusty the Rasp. I got it when I was a little kid, and I carved. This file's made me more money than anything on the planet. I carved every single wax of my life with this thing.
Wow.
I got it in a little toolbox when I was like probably 3 or 4 years old. So all right, so here we go. Carefully. You don't want to ruin any of your details, and we're just polishing our edges.
If you're using a diamond, you don't really need to worry about
Right.
touching the stone.
Abrading the stone.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not, if this was a, I'm just kind of,
Is the rubber wheel kind of like the same as a buffer? You just buff it
yeah,
out,
yeah, but it's,
taking the tile mark
It's like really fine
Impregnated.
silicone carbide impregnated
Oh, okay.
so
in silicone.
on something like this, I like to burnish my bezel, watch, to get the outside shiny, because if you polish it, it'll erode it. And I want it to be nice and crisp. So I usually take a burnisher, and this will harden the edge of the bezel so that it's stronger. It'll work harden it. You see, I'm burnishing from the back side here, and it's putting a nice shiny edge. And that way, when you polish, the harder your material, the better the polish will be. That's why die-struck rings are so awesome. But I'm used to doing this on a cast ring because castings are just like piece of cheese. Like porous and yeah. So, let me, this will help get it nice and crisp. We'll take a look. You can see it looks pretty good. It's nice and crisp, it's nice and even. The metal's completely down on top of the stone. I didn't have to go in there with a graver and cut it back. I didn't have to, hammer it with a jackhammer. I know a lot of times people think these things here are their, this is how you break stones.
Hammer hand piece.
This is it, man. This is how you bust things. I see people buy these things and just go full throttle. Check this out. And they just, and they just tear the hell out of things. And these make a mess. As you can see, I didn't need a hammer hand piece to do this. Yeah, you don't. You just, I didn't even hammer anything. Because if you start hammering, that's when you start breaking stuff. Not to say that I don't hammer set stones, I do. But not, I try not to use that. When I have to pull out the jackhammer, it's because I've made big mistakes. I've over pushed or over cut everything, and I'm trying to move a whole bunch of metal back over it to kind of fill in the gaps. But when things go right, you just do it like this. And you just go around the top, makes it nice and shiny, and that's how you do it. Oh, you can have it, so we can do some close-up pictures and stuff, and then you can see.
This one might disappear from the sample drawer and be found on my finger. It's very pretty.
But you
could
see
set another little circular stone on that side
You know
setting.
what? I think I got a little sapphire up here.
Do you want to set a sapphire with a CZ?
Sure.
Oh,
Oh, look at this! I got
It's
one.
just a shame.
I found it in the drawer because I lost it one time. Let's see if it's too
pretty big.
Yeah, it's too big.
That's good because I don't think you should waste a sapphire with a CZ.
Yeah. So that would look great though with like whatever you want to put in there, and it's the same process.
So this die can be purchased at potterusa.com under the Facebook specials page for another few hours.
Yep.
We don't keep things on the site permanently. We list things for like in limited runs for a short period of time.
Yep. And that's mostly to keep our sanity, because if we leave things up, we have too much.
We're a small manufacturer.
Yeah. that has absorbed every other manufacturer.
So you were just looking at the master hub, and this is what you will receive. This is the female die, and you will also want to use it with the, at minimum, the low humpback former. When I made the ring, I used both of these formers. They're sold separately, but at least get the low, which is this one. These help out a lot. And you're also going to want to use urethane pieces.
And your hydraulic press.
And your hydraulic press. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything else to the people?
Thanks for watching.
Go get this ring.
And it's the biggest thing is you don't want to set them too high. Notice how this looks correct. That's why I use 16 gauge. 14 gauge is fine too, somewhere in there. And if you were burnishing and you tried to have a solder joint there, you're going to see a line and a big hole because your burnisher is not going to do that well going across it. So this is a good way to do it. And it saves on soldering. And that way, when you go to solder the bezel onto the ring, it doesn't come apart.
Yeah.
Okay?
Far less fiddly.
Much less fiddly, and it looks very, I mean, I think it looks pretty professional.
It does. It's really pretty.
Almost like you've done this before.
Almost like I've done it a couple times.
It's really
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah. I love the way that when you smear the metal down across the top of the crown, it just looks so bright and crisp. That nice
Yeah,
little
it's
line.
lovely.
Yeah. So that's what you're shooting for, guys.
All right.
See you
Go buy
later.
the ring. Try your hand at it. Let us know how it goes.
You'll do well.
We'll
You'll
see.
do well.
See you guys
Bye, guys.
later.
See you later.
Yeah, it turned out good.